Okay, come and stand in the middle of your mat. Feet hip width apart. Perhaps just a little jazz walk if you've got cold feet, and just kind of moving through heels to toes. And just starting to find your center point, so your pelvic floor. Think about pulling in. See if you can find 100%. TVAs, that one we tend to hollow and pull down towards the hips. So bringing it to center standing, still relax your shoulders, pulling in those two core muscles, hold 5 seconds. And let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then your slow release and then take it again. Pulling in 100% and just check that you're not holding the breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then your slow release, and we're going one more. Drawing in and breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then halfway, 50%, just so it's not taking all of your concentration. One arm up level with your shoulder, ear down to shoulder. Drift that towards your side wall for a shoulder glide. Center it, reach your arm up over the head and then over onto your side bend. Then release. Now if you want to go a little bit slower than me, or you want to go faster, totally fine. Just work with your pace, but just see if you can do each and every move, each component, just properly, like with precision. Reaching right through the fingertips, a nice straight arm. See if you can get that here all the way down. Then relax the other shoulder as you go into your shoulder glide. Relaxing the feet, drawing in the core as you go over in your side bend. Try and keep the hips central. Almost getting that release on the shoulders as you go over into your glides. And you can always breathe out, you can put in extra breaths anywhere as well. One more each side. Keep working with the core. You might even think about spiraling heart to ceiling, just to get a little bit more space in the chest, and relaxing the shoulders as you glide. Okay, I'll just adjust this so you can see what I've been doing a little bit more. A little bit of a lower back exercise, chin to chest, slide your hands down your legs, soften your knees, maybe brush fingertips on floor, then uncurl, coming back into center, turn the palms outwards, looking up to the ceiling. You could put in as well, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then again. So we're just doing a nice slow roll down, start warming up the spine, soften through the knees. And then if you want to, you could bring that all the way up and then put in baby back bends if it suits you, drawing in the core. Now up to you if you want to bring that all the way down to the floor, almost into a pebble position, curling up into a little ball before you uncurl again. So just your version, your pace. 2 more. Starting to move a little bit, get some mobility there. Find some energy in the spine. Going to move from that towards the squats. Option here to put in your free weights, or you might want to do a few without and then put them in. Take the hips back into space, reach the hands forwards. Think about getting that length through the lower back, nice long spine. You know, you might be either reaching the hands forwards, or you might, without the weights, be thinking about the length all through the spine. Squeeze the glutes as you lift, drawing in the core. Try not to let the knees pronate in, keep the feet parallel. If you put in your weights, you've got your front raise, then you can always add in arms around that top point. Squeeze glutes, lift. Perhaps putting another breath in, breathing in, reaching up and over. Just being aware when you go round that you're not dipping the head forwards. So try and keep the head in between the arms if you're doing that. Kind of wrap round and up position with the weights. Three more, perhaps playing with a little bit lower into the squat. Keep finding the core muscles, particularly as you take the arms up over the heads. Then just roll shoulders down and back, and we'll go scapular set. So tuck your elbows in. Keep a bit of tension there in the wrist and the forearm, so we're not kind of in this position. So we've got a good grip on the wrist and on the weights. Breathing out as you go back, breathing in as you center. And this is the same thing. Try not to be dipping the head forward. So almost like you're going to make a bit of a double chin. You're keeping that length at the back of the neck. Tucking the pelvis under. Option here, if you want to balance, you could just take a little pendulum. So you just drift up one foot and then just switch it over side to side. Just if you can breathe out into taking the hands behind. Really good on posture, particularly if you've been sat at any desk or driving. Two more. So take a running arm, and when I say this, drive the elbows back. Sometimes you can sometimes see running arms, and then you could extend at the back, but keep it quite short and kind of really focus on being really still in the middle. So it's a bit like when we're doing the 100 and I'm saying pulse your arms but keep your tummy still. So same thing with this one. Do these running arms but try and keep super still through the center. Drive the elbows back. Try and almost keep the same angle between the forearm and the bicep. Just notice if you've got any rotation or twisting. Is the head moving? Are the shoulders moving? Just if you can keep really strong through the center. Then you can add in, if you want, a bit of balance. So you can just take up one knee, like a high knee, or if that's too much, take it lower and just literally transfer the weight into one foot. And again, see if you can keep that super still in the center. Then you're probably testing your muscles in your feet. Then you're just switching over. Perhaps using the big toe as a bit of an anchor. Find the pelvic floor, squeeze in the glutes. Then you can kind of go like a little bit quicker, maybe just do 1, 2, 3 and then swap. So you're just testing yourself on the balance a little bit more often. Notice if you adjust with the position on your knee to get your balance, and see if you can find that position with the core, the center. Let's go for just a couple more swaps. Working with the running arms, stay strong in the center. Okay, I'm going to go to the single leg deadlift. I'm going to put in a shoulder press, and with this one as well, shoulder press is going to look like that. That's a shoulder press. So you're going to go down towards the floor, and you might not go all the way. You might just go halfway with this, and then bring yourself up to center, eye gaze forwards. Do your shoulder press. So same, do one leg, so that you got your shoulder press, then you're going down halfway, or if you want all the way to the floor, center, 8 on each side. So you're working with balance. You're also working with that hamstring on the standing leg. A little bit of softening in the knee, so try not to hyperextend straight in this leg too much. Just enough that you feel like your hamstring gets worked. Particularly you might find that kind of joint from the glute to hamstring. You might have to work the balance quite a bit on this. Use your big toes, use your core. Once you've done your 8, swap sides, same thing. You've got that shoulder press, single shoulder press, and then down to the floor. So it's the opposite hand working to the leg that you're standing on. The other one's just resting down by your side. The challenge really here is bringing the eye gaze forwards as you come up to your standing position. And then eye gaze down. Whew. So nice wide squats in. I haven't done this one for a while. I've missed it. Maybe just finding if you're any tightness in the hips, with a little sway side to side, shoulders relax. Taking the weights, or you can do this without weights if you want. Taking a big circle all the way around over the head and down. This one, try and stay strong in the center. Try and keep the head still. 5 one way and then 5 the other. It's almost like a gigantic wood chop kind of action. And then when you're ready, other way around, maybe think about dropping yourself a little bit lower into your squat. Try and keep the shoulders relaxed, the core pulled in. The core strong in the center. Woo! Okay, so your single leg exercise that you choose now. So you could do your lunges. You could put weights into lunges. You could do your dips on the stairs. 10 on each leg if you've got the time. And I say that because some of them take longer than the others. Do 2 sets. Sometimes the ones on the stairs are a bit quicker, I've always thought. I'm going to demo that one. You've got the chair exercise. Single leg, sit down on the chair. And then see if you can stand up. Think about squeezing through the glutes. Think about drawing in the core. Think about the knees, what's happening with the knees and the feet. Try not to let the feet pronate in. Woo. And if you feel like you're wobbling too much, or you've got any knee niggles, you can always hold on, so you can totally support yourself whilst you're doing the exercise. And then you can work at strengthening the knee before putting in that kind of balance instability kind of work. That's always a halfway point into doing the full exercise. Try not to hold any tension in the face or the shoulders. Thinking about all the muscles underneath the feet, all the toes, equal weight perhaps as well, under the foot. I might just keep going until everyone's back, and I can see everyone back in the screen. But we are going to all meet downward dog. So if you've done your sets on each leg, we're going to go downward dogs. Just jazz walk your downward dog like we did in that warm up. And I'm going to put a little, it's not really a combo, but it's, so you've got your downward dog. If you're struggling, you haven't been doing your dogs for a while, and you're kind of in that position, bring it down to your plank, and then take the foot over, swap the legs, and you could do that a few times if you want to as well, so you can kind of dilly-dally around with leg swapping. Swap them, then go back into downward dog. So you've got your legs crossed on your dogs. So it's a little bit more intensity on that calf stretch. And then again, you can drift your hips down, so you're nearly in plank, kind of playing around with mid-plank, mid-downward dogs. Again, you can walk it through I mean, I'm actually bringing the foot forwards, but you could take the foot behind. Whatever feels comfortable. And again, cross. Send the hips up. And then try the dog again. So just a little bit more intensity on the back kind of leg and the stretch on the back leg. And then again, you can kind of bring it all the way down. Playing around with your nearly plank position. Kind of spread fingers, spiral biceps towards each other, and then again swap the legs. Send the hips up. Get that stretch for the calf muscles, or particularly one muscle. Last time, do a little walk through. See if you can set the other leg behind. Last big stretch in dog. Hips up, arms wrapped around the ears, and breathe. Okay, bring it into all fours, so hands under shoulders and knees under hips. Find your neutral spine, so drawing in the core, and then you're just going to look around towards your feet. So just like a little bit of a, making almost like an S shape with the spine. You're almost thinking about the shoulder dipping down towards the side body. You might feel like a bit of a side squeeze. It's kind of subtle, kind of just above the hip. Looking round, dipping shoulder down. I think last week we did actually a bit of a shoulder dipping cobra, if anyone was here. And it might feel a little bit similar to that one. Okay, bring it into center. I'm going to prep it without the weights, but the option's going to be to put weights in. It's going to be sliding one leg, squeeze in the glutes, leg left, and then opposite arm drifts back, and that's where you put your weight, and then bring it down. So you can work with both. You can work both sides and alternate, and have your weights ready under your hands, or you could do 8 on one side, 8 on the other side. So I'll leave it kind of whether you want to alternate or whether you want to do one side only. So think about that squeeze through the glutes, that length through the spine. So you're almost taking the shoulder back as you go into your position. Try not to arch through the lower back. Try and keep that crown of head in line with spine. It's almost like creating this really long straight shape with the arm and the leg just floating behind you. Breathing out into your lift. Breathing in as you lower. Keeping that connection there with the pelvic floor, TBA. Might feel triceps getting a little bit of work at the backs of the arms. So once you've done your 8 or it'll be 16 continuously if you've alternated, a cat to cow, so chin into chest, hunching up that top of the back. Send the shoulders up towards the ears, space between the shoulder blades, and then kind of ripple it into your cow position, but drift the chest forward, tuck the toes under. So you can go up into your cat. Breathing in, drop down into cow. So again, just working with the spine, a little bit of spine mobility. You can go super slow on this one as well. Just putting in a wrist stretch then, so one at a time, fingers pointing towards the, not one at a time fingers, one hand at a time, fingers pointing towards the knees. Equal weight through, and then just switching that over. Any hypermobility, just be aware that you go outside with your fingers, not inside, if that makes sense, and that you're not overdoing that stretch on the inner elbow. You're not extending that inner elbow out beyond neutral. Okay, low lunge stretch. So step forwards with one leg. But we're going to shift that into a lizard. So drop the toes off the mat. So we've got that hip opening position. And you might want to sway the hips side to side. So a little bit of movement in there if that feels comfortable. Just kind of exploring a little bit of the hip stretch. Options for super flexibles is to bring the elbows down into your lizard, so it kind of explores a little bit more intensity into that hip stretch. And again, just come back to the breath, just check that you're expanding the rib cage. So putting more intensity going into the hips, you could go into pigeon, so you're just going to bring that foot down and then that foot comes across the midline. It works there into the glutes as well. If pigeon isn't suitable for you, you can lie on your back and hug your knee into your chest and do a very similar exercise that we're doing on our fronts on your backs. Option here to bring your elbows down, your forehead down. Just so if you can melt into that hip stretch. 3 deep breaths if you can, bring in your yogic breath, so expand kind of lower back, expand belly and lift up towards your crown. And then gradually coming up, coming back to all fours and then going to the other side. So first of all, finding your low lunge. Then sending your toes off and opening the hips a little bit to find lizard. Then you've got your little bit of the swaying in there, just exploring any tightness in the hips. Coming back to the breath. Just checking you're not holding the breath. And then you can go down into your pigeon or take it onto your back. Sending that front knee towards your hand. You can always take a moment to go into the lift. Breathe in, lift. Breathing out, come down onto the elbows. Again, work with your yogic breath, 3 deep breaths. I'm just watching the dog. Jay's dog looks great. So, oh yeah, what are you doing there? Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, from there, see if you can slide down onto your front. You might find Sphinx position naturally, elbows under shoulders. Send your hips down, but lift up your heart. Just maybe 3 breaths here in Sphinx if you prefer Cobra. So just rise up into Cobra, hold Cobra for 3 breaths, but send the shoulders down, lifting up the chest. But equally, same thing here in Sphinx, so no pressure. Sending the hips down, maybe you feel the abdominal stretch just here or up in Cobra. So we're going to just slide the hands away from the body, so we're lying on our fronts, forehead down on the mat. And we're going to go with the arms to start with. Breathing out, lift up one arm and reach it up and forwards and then lower it down. Then other side. So just alternate, breathing out, lift and reach and down. So thinking about length here all the way through the body in these lift and these reaches. And if you want a progression here, see if you can do both arms. Breathing out, lift up both arms and reach them forwards. It is quite challenging. It's harder than you might think. And again. Breathing out, lift. And breathing in, lower. Now we're going to go to the legs. Just leave the arms there. Lifting up one leg, squeezing the glutes, keep the leg really long. Again, you're getting the glute squeeze, a hamstring work, opposite side of the lower back. Alternate through, breathing out left, breathing in lower. You work quite slowly through this one. Then progression here if you want it, both legs lift and lower. Again, slightly harder than you might think. You might want to put the forehead down. This is a lower back exercise. So then doing a bit of a combination, opposite arm, opposite leg, lift and lower. Other side, lift and lower. And you can keep working through that, or you might want to take both up and lower. Progressions on here, lift and hold 3 breaths. Try and stay as high as you can into that lift. Giving everything a bit of a squeeze. Think about lifting and lengthening. And then releasing. One more time, or you might be alternating. 3 breaths. Squeezing, lengthening, lifting. And then bring it down. Then a quad stretch as we recover from that one. Just see if you can reach towards the one of your feet or ankles. Send the hips down into the mat. Rest the forehead on your other arm. 3 deep breaths. Just any resistance there in the quad. Just see if you can let go. And then swap legs over. Again, same thing, just sit. See if you can just let go of the resistance as you exhale. Sending the hips down into the mat. Pressing up back into your cat stretch. Chin into chest. Bit of a circle here with the hips. So it's working with a little bit of a release there on lower back. You might want to go all the way back down towards your heels and then coming forwards. You're just kind of really exploring space. Other way around. And you can really drop into hips as well if you want to put any twists in there. So you can kind of drop all the way around and bring it around. So it's very kind of snake-like. There's a really good dance called the snake dance if you put it on YouTube, and it's this lady that's quite flexible and she moves around like a snake. It's really good. I'll try and find it and put it on the Pilates group page. Okay, so we're going to go to our planks, our low planks. So elbows down under shoulders. Option 1 is knees down. You're tucking in, particularly TVA, you're working with that core. Option 2, legs straight. And we're going to do 10, so not 10 seconds, but 10 moves. Just take the foot to the corner and then center. So drop the foot off the mat, but reach it to the corner. So work through 10. Count yourself through your pace. Any like knee, not niggles, but knee problems, you could always put your knees on a cushion if you need a little bit of support there, if your mat's not very thick. If you've got your knees down. Or maybe you've got your legs straight. If you've got your legs straight, you should feel that really good stretch for the feet. Then once you've done your 10, bring your hips down, have a little rest. The next one is going to be with the arms. So we're going to go into the lift. You're pulling in the core. Then you're just taking the hand off the front corner and then recenter. 10 of these. So if you can breathe out as you reach over. Should feel that in the shoulders and the upper body. Should feel it in the core as your hips, they almost sway side to side with this one. Short rest after 10. Then you might have guessed it, we're going to put the two together. So it's going to be opposite arm, opposite leg, shifting out to the corners. Options to do it with your knees down or your legs straight. So into your left, pulling in your core, and then into your reaches across. If you've got your legs straight, it really tests your core stability on this one. Try and breathe out into the stretch. Keep that focus there on the core, drawing in. Then once you've done your 10, we're all going to relax in child's pose. So sitting back to your heels. If that doesn't suit your knees, you could always go with puppy dog. Hips over knees. Shoulder stretch here in child's pose then. So reach one hand forward, threading the other hand underneath. So if you can twist a little bit there and bring your forehead down. Three deep breaths, then we'll switch the arms over. Think about stretching the fingertips away. So if you can create really long arms. Elastic man arms. And then when you're ready, just swapping that over. Bring in that yogic breath, so send the breath to the lower back. Okay, so picking a side then. A little bit of hamstring focus here, working with the side series today. So we're going to come pick a side and then just stretching out one leg. Gate pose. Hands just in front, and again work with this kind of swaying motion, rocking forwards and back. So again, just exploring hip work, hip stretching. Particularly, you're going to find the inner thigh on this stretch. So again, just kind of easing and letting go of any tightness in there. Then coming up to center, slide that one hand down that long leg, reach up and over for your side body stretch. Try not to kind of drop the chest forwards, that's quite a different thing. So kind of keeping the body, the chest facing towards this long edge of the mat. Finding a little bit of core. Very much lats, so it's quite nice on your sort of, if you're swimming. You might want to think about spiraling rib cage to ceiling a little bit to get into that position. Perhaps eye gaze up. Breathing in, let's get some space in the body. Just letting go of this leg, this long leg. See if that's what you want to let go of there to find that stretch. Then from there, that leg's going to come forwards, hamstring stretch. You might not be able to get down into that, so you might be more lifted. I'll show you this way just so I can show you what we're going to do with the foot. Is this foot circle. So a little bit of ankle work, a little bit of movement in there. Should feel like the front of the leg, the shin part here, getting a little bit of a stretch. It's a bit of balance work as well. Now you'll notice the hips will want to tilt and twist and wiggle in here. So think about getting the hips square facing whichever way you're facing as you work with your ankle. And then other way around. Okay, so then come down onto that side. We're going to bend the bottom knee and then the top leg stays straight, and we're going to do the one leg circle. I've gone straight into that, so if that feels too much you could always go with a bent knee. So 5 circles one way, 5 circles the other way. Again, working a little bit of hip. And breathe. So in this position you're kind of locked, you can't really open into the hips, so it's very much kind of will stretch around and work with the pelvis a little bit here. Other way around. Again, if it's too much you can just bend in the knee. Finding the core muscles in here as well. Okay, lowering that down, lift up onto your elbow. We're going to pulse for 2 on a hamstring side kick, and then we're going to lift up the hips and just take a bit of an extension. So it's going to look like this: 1, 2, and then just a little bit of a side plank, kind of float, and then lower. 1 and 2, and when you're ready, just joining in, and then into a lift. So just easing again into some hamstring work, but also side body work, a little bit of length through that body, into that lift. I keep trying to flex and point. It's quite hard to put that in when you're pulsing, but if you can, flex as you go forwards, point as you come back. 2 more. And then release. Okay, other side then. So start with the gate pose position, so get yourself lifted up a bit. Find your stretch position, hands forwards, work into your forwards and back, a little bit of swaying. Just teasing into that stretch there. I think for me after racing a 10K, this is super tight. So I don't know if anyone else is noticing hamstrings being tight. It's getting a little bit of a give there. Bring yourself up, then you can slide, go over into your gate pose. You might find this side slightly tighter, or not, I don't know. Mine's definitely tighter. Try and keep the hips squaring, and are they tilting, are they twisting? Then think about the chest and what's happening with the torso. Is it twisting? See if you can kind of keep it open to the side of the mat, maybe spiraling heart to ceiling, and then you can start reaching this hand. So I'm just showing you to really reach through your fingertips, so we're not bending in the elbow. Perhaps looking up. And then start just letting go of this long leg. Release, then you find your hamstring stretch, so whether you're bringing your leg forwards or like me, you want to twist around. You can always put your knee on a cushion for this one. Any problems with the knee, if we've done too much sat on the knee, you could do this standing with your leg up on a chair or a sofa or something, if that's easier, if you prefer standing. So you're circling with the ankle, getting that stretch there in the ankle and lower leg. Squaring the hips to the front of your mat or the way you're facing. They'll want to wiggle. Any tightness will make them wiggle. If you're flexible, you might want to bring yourself down to the floor over the hamstring. Other way around with your circling. Okay, so from there, coming down, we're going to go that one leg circle. So lying onto your side, bending the bottom knee. That's kind of like your base support. Leg straight if that was too much. Remember, leg bent. 5 circles one way. Pulling in the core muscles. You could always go hand on hip just to check that you're not kind of rocking or opening in that. And then the other way around. Lots of control, so we're not going really super fast. The same pace up, the same pace down. Like the size of maybe a watermelon, something like that. It doesn't have to be really big. It can be a little bit too stressful for the hip to go really big unless you're going really slowly. Then ready for the coming up slightly, elbow under shoulder, pulse for 2. And then that little hip lift and that big stretch up and over. Flex and point if you can. Oh, there's a plant. Should feel a little bit of work there, kind of the glute med on the lift. And around a little bit of work there, around this down here, down here. Might notice your feet in the flex and points. Doing a little bit of work. 2 more. Your pace, you can always slow it down if I'm going a little bit fast. And release. Okay, lying on our backs then. Quickly take a time check. Perhaps a little pelvic tilt, find your neutral spine. Length at the back of the neck, shoulders relaxed. We're going to go straight in. We're going to do our 5 sets, the 100. 4 toe taps, 8 pulses, and then your 8-second hold. Remember, like in warm-up when we were doing the running arms and we were keeping the tummy still, same thing for your pulsing. Perhaps go palms up just to get your shoulders relaxed. Draw the feet a little bit further away from your body so we're not too close to your bum. Okay, here we go. 4 and 3. Imprint that lower back down, pull in the core. 2 and 1. Lift head and shoulders. Pulse the arms up and down from the shoulders. Tummy still. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slide fingertips to kneecaps. Hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Here we go again. If you want more, tabletop this. Toe tap down. 4, 3, and 2, and 1 to pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. And again, 4, and 3, 2, 1. Ready to pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Option for a teaser. Hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 2 sets. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ready, pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Last time. 4, and 3, 2. Still imprinting. And 1 to pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold. And breathe. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Full body stretch. Giving everything a bit of a squeeze. Point toes. Squeeze your glutes. Scrunch up your fists. Get your shoulders to touch your ears. Scrunch up your face. Take a really big deep breath in. And breathing out. Just let go. 10 seconds. Totally relax your muscles. Bending the knees, palms facing up to the ceiling, and just gently press palms together. So it's a bit like thinking about left, right side of the body, making this connection. And then draw that across to the side of the knee and center. And I'm going to put in a bit of a different kind kind of idea on this move. So you're lifting chin to chest. Now see if you can go for a really big circle all the way around. And so you're lifting up, you're brushing across the top of the knees, and then you're going up, round. Drawing like a really big moon there on the ceiling. And then you just go round the other way. It's a bit like what we did in the warm-up when we're standing and we're holding the weights and I'm getting you to draw a big circle. Back into center then. If you want more now, we can tabletop this or we can single leg stretch it. So we're going into tabletop. This time you're just going to come across to the bent knee and then recenter. It's quite hard to put the circle in. I was playing around earlier. It was quite hard. So just go for a straight reach, center. It might feel a little bit easier after circling. Or you might be heel sliding. Using that core, then find the pelvic floor, just 2 more. Feet down, arms up towards the ceiling, release, palms touching, arms over the head. If you've got the space, circle them around the body, then come back up. Breathing out as you go over, imprint shoulder blades down, imprint the spine down, so try not to let it lift. Then choice here if you want, double leg stretch. And if double leg's feeling a little bit much, you could just extend through one leg and then just switch that over. So you're getting this nice length through the body and that imprint through the spine. 4 more, just breathing out as you lengthen. Try not to let the chin lift to the ceiling, so you're just thinking about length at the back of the neck. Then we're going to go arms out to the sides, feet down, both knees drop across, lower back release, chest stretch, recenter over to the side. Any more hamstring work or you want IT band stretch, just tabletop and then use your corners extending out. So the option in there to do a little bit more core as well, on the work with your obliques, a little bit more hamstring. If you feel like you need a little bit more of the lower back spine twist and you feel like you've got tightness in there, you can just place your hand on the top of your knee and think about stretching the opposite hand up to the far corner. So just kind of check in with the body at this point, see what it needs. Working out where does it need a little bit more space just to bring it back into a sense of harmony. Okay, I've got, again, quite a lot of stretches again today. Sorry, I've done loads of stretches today. But hamstring stretch, so grab your bands. I always double mine over just to get a little bit more torque there in the band. Now this might feel a bit easier coming from kind of gate pose and the hamstring stretch we did earlier. So just see how you feel. When I get to the ceiling, try and get the band around the centre of the foot. If you feel like you could do a flex and point and work with that in there. Push away at the back of the knee. Just take a 30 seconds kind of maintenance stretch. Try not to lift your bum up or your hips up, so try and stay centered down towards your tailbone. Shoulders relaxed. Muscles in your face relaxed. And maybe just as well, because we've done a bit of hamstring, maybe it's just easing into the stretch a little bit quicker. Maybe not, but you know, maybe it did. Then the same leg without the band, bring it across. We'll take a glute stretch just above the knee, flex this top foot. Then you might just work with that stretch, that might be enough. If you want more, you can thread your fingers through, hold on to your thigh. So you're just threading under. Now just watch the chin here and the shoulders, so try and keep the shoulders down. The length at the back of the neck, so you haven't lifted your chin to find that position. Feeling that glute stretch. Sometimes it's quite nice to put a tiny tilt just going across to where that top foot would draw down towards the floor. You find sometimes a bit more of a juicy stretch. Then allowing, so release the hands, allow that foot to drop down, work with the hips. So that whole position drops. Opposite arm reaching to that far corner, so you're really getting that chest stretch across the body. 3 deep breaths here. Just letting go. Bringing it back to center, and we'll do those on the other side. So you start with the hamstring on the band. Just for 30 seconds. Push away at the back of the knee. If you did your flex and point, you can do that one again. Just watching again this lift on your bum or your hips. So just trying to keep that centered and down. Shoulders relaxed. Then we're going to go to those glutes. So foot across, flex the foot. And then it was your choice. You can work with this stretch. Now just be aware, so you've got into this position. Notice if your hips have tilted. So if you've got any tightness in the glutes or in hips, they wiggle around just to try and fit into your position. So just think about what's happening with your hips. Try and keep them straight, keep them square. Maybe use the core imprint a little bit. And you might be lifting up into the threading through glute stretch. Checking that you're not lifting up the chin. You haven't lost all that nice, lovely length we've put in the spine during the session. You might be putting in that little sneaky tilt across if you like that one. Then releasing the hands, allowing that to drop over. Foot goes down, working into that hip stretch, the other arm reaching up, maybe looking up towards that hand as well. Just surrendering. Surrender the body. Unraveling then to bring the feet up. Just taking time. Gonna shoulder bridge. So come to the center of the mat. Bring in your feet a bit closer to your body and pelvic tilt. So if you've got any kind of tightness in the quads, particularly, I find after running on the roads I get that a little bit. You might find a release literally just in a pelvic tilt on the quads, on the front of the legs. You can put your lift in here, take your shoulder bridge, chin into chest, arms up and over. Now just checking with the body if you want spine mobility. Just gently bring it up and down and work with that. If you want a little bit more glute, lower back work, lower back strengthening work, grab your weights. Go up into your shoulder bridge, put in your one leg lift, hold, take the arms up and take them back 4 times, and you can work through that, and that's going to strengthen your glutes and your lower back, and then you can swap legs. So just work with whatever your body needs. Maybe it needs releasing and mobility work today. Maybe it needs kind of more on the strength. Try not to hold the breath. If anything, breathing out as the arms go up and over. Breathing out as you move through the spine. Swap legs if you're doing your leg lifts and your arm movements with your legs. Still. So I've got a few different versions there going on the screen. So once you're done, we'll all meet in hugging knees into chest. Taking a little bit of a circle. Then just seeing if we can rock that up to seated position. So I'm just, my mat keeps moving. Rollovers then, let's go for some rollovers. If you want a little bit more inner thigh, do your seal or your crabs, if you remember them. If you want more hamstring, maybe shoulder stand and take it over. I'll try and demo each one of them so you've got all those options. But we could maybe all start just with a simple one, so hugging onto shins, rock back, so you can get each vertebrae to roll with you. Come back to your hover using the core. Seal, you're holding underneath, you've got your clapping, you've got your rock backs. Crabs, you holding onto your feet, cross-legged position. You're lifting up, getting that release on the hips at the top. Shoulder stands, going up towards the ceiling, going over, a bit more hamstring work. You could always crisscross and take a boomerang. Last one, or finishing off that one. Coming. Just going to do a little heart stretch. So sitting in seated position, flex the feet. Hands either side of the hips. And then almost pressing into these hands, lifting up the heart. So you're thinking about this really long spine. Just take that stretch there. It's very simple, quite effective. 3 deep breaths, expand the rib cage, and as you exhale, try and stay lifted. I'm going to put in a little combo on this next one. It's going to be coming down into half roll down. You can, like you're holding onto a piece of string. Come up to center, bend the knees, wrap it round for a sweep through, over to the other side. Now you can go into the roll down if you want to make it harder with your knees bent, all the way down chin to chest and up, and then just literally into your rocks to the sides. You can always put bands into the roll down if you're struggling to get back up. Last time through. Okay, last one then, spine twist. I've got a really good combo on this one, but I didn't practice it, so I kind of feel like I should practice it first. But if you want, I can wing it if you feel like trying something new. Oh dear. Okay, spine twist. Get nice and tall. You can always grab a cushion if you want to. Relax your shoulders. So my option did have the arms straight, which is slightly different to what we normally do in there, but if you want to start on that one, you could go with that. Breathing in to get tall, breathing out, twist. Breathing in to get tall, breathing out, twist. Now you can pulse into this, so you could put a little bit of a 1-2. We've done a few of them tonight. So you just go a little bit further around. I need a bit more space because I'm hitting the wall. Try and breathe in to get tall each time at the centre. So the combo, if you fancy it, is quite energising. So see how you feel. You might not want to finish on a fully energising move. Is you twist round and then you're going to spin round and take that downward dog with your legs crossed like we did in warm up. I'm going to show you on more of an angle so you can see that. So you're going to 1, 2, then the arm drops back, you lift up the hips and you take your downward dog with legs crossed, and then you kind of spin it all back around. It's not as smooth as it could be, but you can kind of really work on it being smooth. You just kind of, it's very much always working, pivoting, spinning around the foot into a different angle, so you might end up facing a completely different way on your mat, off your mat. Okay, one more, whichever spinning one you're on. Hands together, namaste.